Hey 501, hope everybody's doing well. Happy Tuesday, happy week 7, happy week before the last week of this class. Woo! Exciting. So, hope everybody's doing well. Like I said, quick week 6 wrap up here. So, I wanted to talk about the article that you had read this week and discussed in discussion board, the NASA article. I hope you all enjoyed it for a couple of reasons. Number one, because it's just kind of interesting. Number two, because it's kind of funny. Number three, because it's actually, if it plays you right like it's supposed to, it can maybe trigger a little bit of insight and perspective on culture and what you're doing as an observer and how you're functioning as a person from your particular background. So I think that most people got it, but I was reading through the discussion boards. I think that there were a couple people that didn't quite fully catch it. Nasarima, right? Nacirema. Sorry about my handwriting. I know it's terrible. If you turn it around backwards, yep. I'm sure there are a couple of you right now who are going, "Ooh!" Yeah. It makes you feeling better. It took me a minute. First time I read it too. I finished it. I sat there. I was like, let me read this. I don't get it. I mean, this doesn't fit with this class. I mean, it's interesting, but then I was like, oh, yeah. So go back and look at all the stuff. So like, there's reference to the churches and the medicine and all kinds of things that are very normal to us in our culture. But then an outside observer might not think. Might think of us as simplistic or barbarous or less than in some way. So think about that. Anyways, hope you enjoyed that piece. Alright, so then we covered some stuff this week I think we're good on. Coming up this week, okay, so this week, going through this week, we're talking early and middle childhood. So that's my gig right there, early and middle childhood. Really interesting stuff. I hope that you pay particular attention to a couple areas. One, I really want you guys looking at those developmental milestones and developing your working knowledge and for some of you who might have kids, some of this stuff will seem a little bit like riding a bike for you. But even if you do, sometimes things change. You still want to be paying pretty close attention. I just found my 2-year-old's underwear in my pocket. That's different. At least they're clean. We're potty training here. Anyways, yeah. Speaking of early childhood, and developmental milestones, that was perfect. So pay attention to those. I'm not saying memorize them, but I'm saying memorize them, if you will. You want to be really familiar if you're going to be a clinician who's developing working knowledge when working with kids and families in particular. But even if you're not, it's going to occur. It's really good to know what's more in the normal range in terms of developmental milestones and what isn't, and what that means when kids don't meet them. So that's where the ASQ comes in, and that you all should be familiar with at this point because you're utilizing it for your papers. It's where the ASQ comes in, and just that general knowledge base on development. Other thing that I really want to make sure that you're paying close attention to is all the theory out there on attachment, Bowlby, all that stuff. Really, really important stuff in this work that we do. To the point where I will say that there was a lecture that I attended about 2 years ago where it was a phenomenal talk, and the fellow doing the talk basically started with a very bold statement. At the time, I was like, oh, here he goes. But then, I've thought about it a lot afterwards, and I don't know if I can disagree. I'm not saying, yes, this is it, but I don't know if I disagree. Basically, he said that the number one thing that we should be paying attention to, underlying everything else that we do in social work, child development work, human services in general, is paying attention to attachment. That basically attachment, particularly in early middle childhood, is that which lays the groundwork for everything else that we do. It's worth a thought, right? There's a lot to that. It affects everything. There you hear my 1-year-old crying in the background, speaking of which. So, hope you're paying attention to that. The article this week, Becoming Attached, goes over a lot of basic attachment theory, kind of an overview. Again, really important stuff, stuff that you might want to be integrating into your papers. You should have some loose paragraphs and rough draft stuff going on with your papers right now, where you should be at with that. Hopefully, nobody's still doing their interviews because you're going to be scrambling if you are, and I don't want that for you. Because really you need some time sitting down, processing, and writing if you're going to do a good job on that, and it's going to be experience worth your while. So, hope everybody's up with that. Nobody's contacted me to say that they're having any issues, so I'm assuming that everybody's good. Okay. Milestones, becoming attached. Paper. Yeah, short one for you tonight. Check in. That's all I got. As always, got discussion forum open. I've got email. I've got phone. I've got a little bit of time here and there where I can get back to you as quickly as I can. So, hope you're all well. Peace be with you. See you on the flip side, which is going to be next week, which is going to be our last week in this class. Exciting stuff. Hope you're getting something out of it. If you're not, please let me know, because that's a bummer, and maybe we can still change something here. So, take it easy, 501.